Welcome everyone, and thank you for joining us for our Koha Community GiftED series. My name is Jessie. We have Elise and Heather with us today, and we are very excited to talk to you. Our Koha Community GiftED series was an initiative that allowed us to work with librarians and staff to learn from each other and truly give back to the community, which is a Koha. So today we have the most wonderful presenter with us, Heather. Heather, welcome and thank you for joining us. And we are going to pass it right over to you to jump into things and talk all about authorities.
All right, let me share my screen. Are y'all seeing my PowerPoint?
Looks good.
Excellent. So this is going to be very basic and it's going to be very opinionated, which, no surprise, it's me. So authorities, or how you too can learn to relax and love cross-references. I'm Heather. I'm going to be retiring from my current job on April 30th, and I'm so excited. After that, and right now, you can contact me via flyingendpaper@gmail.com. I'm also It's H2 on the Koha Community Mattermost chat, which, if you haven't checked it out, I strongly encourage y'all to check it out because it's really nice. It's really friendly. It's free. One question that is asked quite frequently when people are thinking about authorities is, why should I use them? I think a lot of people don't realize that you probably are using them every day when you use Wikipedia. So, in case you were expecting something a little more academic, or you need to pop up a slide, or you really, really would like a lot of references, you can get them. There's a lot of resources on authority control out there, and these are some of them that are cited on the Wikipedia article for authority control. I will be giving you one good citation later. So, as I'm recording this, next month it's Valentine's Day. Perhaps people are thinking of library events for Valentine's Day. Something that came to my mind is maybe I'd like some artwork for inspiration for flyers, for social media images. And as you see in the last slide, I love those little tiny angel, baby angel figures, little cherubs. I thought, okay, let's go to Wikipedia and see if there's some artwork, some inspiration. I look up cherub. This is what I get. And we are looking at authority control and cross-references. When you look at the Wikipedia article for cherub and you see, for the winged infant figure in art, see Puto, that's a cross-reference. That's authority control in action. We go to that article on Puto. Puto redirects here. That's a scope note. For other uses, see Puti. That's a see also reference, another cross-reference. If we look at that Puti disambiguation page, this is an authority record. It has a scope note about what it's talking about. Puti, singular Puto, are chubby male infants in classical painting. Excuse me. Puti may also refer to, see also references, see also references. So Say you have Koha or you're thinking about it, you're thinking about authority control. There's one system preference I want you to look at, and my completely opinionated advice on it is to go to Administration, System Preferences, Authorities, to the Auto Create Authority System Preference, and set it to Don't Create. Your setting will look like this. When editing records, don't create authority records that are missing. Require choosing existing authority must be set to don't require for this to have any effect. I would check that, make sure they're turned off. If they're turned on every time there's a heading in a bibliographic record that there's no authority record for, a machine-generated authority record could be created. That's something I don't recommend. One thing about authority work is it's not all or nothing at all. It's anything you do is a plus, because Koha is very, very forgiving. This is a screenshot from my live catalog in my library. I downloaded the record for J.R.R. Tolkien into my catalog, and as you'll see, it's used in 0 records. This is what we call a blind reference. I don't have any bibliographic records. I have no holdings in my library by J.R.R. Tolkien. Well, it's because it's a maritime history library. So this heading relates to nothing. What happened when I had this heading in my live catalog and folks went to the catalog and searched for the keyword Tolkien? It said no results. I have a setting in Koha for did you mean turned on. If you have that heading turned on and you have such a blind reference, it may say, did you mean this? If that's selected, it still just says no results found. So the absolute worst case scenario for trying authority control and bringing in a record that doesn't match any of your bib records is that a user won't find anything. They might get a did you mean and they don't find anything. There's no endless loop of selecting things and not knowing why you're not retrieving anything. Your users simply won't find holdings under that heading because you don't have any. And I don't think this is that bad. This is that setting I mentioned. In my catalog, we have it turned on. You suggest authorities which are relevant to the terms the user searched for, and this is what generates that little did you mean thing. It's very easy to turn on and off. So I think that more authority records is more awesomeness. One example of a tiny bit of awesome, again from our live catalog, is that, say, someone wanted to research hospitality on ships and cruise ships. So they put in the keyword hospitality. They get records from our catalog that do indeed have the keyword hospitality right in them, but they also get some suggestions from authority records. Did you mean the San Francisco Citizens Hospitality Committee? Hospitality International? Hospitality International Maritime Division? This could be super helpful for the researcher. A keyword like breakfast gets, did you mean breakfasts? This again is from the authority record. So they don't just get records that have this word in them, matching the keyword, they get suggestions from the authority records that are probably really, really helpful. Also, authority records aren't that scary. They're shorter than most bibliographic records. They're really, really very easy to read once you're used to them. This is the Library of Congress authority record for cherubs in art. That we're familiar with that topic. And this is a shorthand in how to read that. The 010 is the Library of Congress control number, and this is a super important number. It's a number that Koha likes to use to match authority records and to overlay authority records. The actual heading is here, Cherub's Art. Unused headings are in the 4XX fields. These are called C references. So Pooty is not used. If someone searches Pooty, they're going to get C cherubs in art. C also references are in the 5XX fields. So if somebody searched symbolism in art, they'll get C also cherubs art. Cupid's art, C also cherubs art. And there's notes. Where did this heading come from? Where is it used? What information was used to come up with these terms? And I'm going to draw your attention too, again, to this 010 number, because Koha has a really, really cool automatic way of updating headings. A lot of other library systems have a global update feature, meaning a human has to go in and update and change headings. Say you've got a lot of old cataloging. Say you've got records that have Pooty in your bibliographic records. When you download this record, every bibliographic heading for the subject heading Pooty would be automatically updated to cherubs in art. What Koha does is when an authority record is brought in, it's going to assign a unique record number for a Koha record number to it. And it puts that Koha record number into your bibliographic records. So every heading in a bibliographic record that matches this authority record is going to have a little subfield 9 at the end of the heading in the bibliographic records, and this creates relationships. So it's sort of like when you bring an authority record into Koha, the authority record looks for all the bibliographic headings that it matches, and it creates handshakes with them through this subfield 9 in the bibliographic records. So the authority record is saying, like, I totally got you. We're now friends. And the bibliographic record is all, yay, I'm not alone. We're linked. And then if that heading is changed, if that heading is updated over time, as they do, and you bring in the updated version of the authority heading, the authority record, and it's matched on this 010, every one of those linked headings gets automatically updated. It's super cool. So just to review, so we know where we are, 150 in an authority record is a 650 in an authority record. And when it's linked, in a bibliographic record. And when it's linked, that 650 will have a magic little subfield 9 to the Koha Authority record number appearing. Here's an outline. It's really that simple. These are the fields to look for to get to know. D010 for the Library of Congress control number, the 1XX for the authorized heading, what you put into bibliographic records, 4XXs or C-froms, these terms are not used, 5XXs, see also froms. These are terms with their own authority records that are nifty for searching, and 6XXs are notes. Other fields are fancy. You'll get to know and love them later. I get authority records in my library from OCLC, but also the Library of Congress has a Z3950 server, and these are current settings that you can put into your Koha catalog to bring in authority records. The Library of Congress also has id.loc.gov, and there's a lot of systems, thesauruses, and headings there. And take a look. It's totally neat. There's subjects, there's genres, there's preservation vocabularies, and on and on and on. Other really cool vocabularies include homosaurus, LGBTQ plus terms, VIAF, the Virtual International Authority File. The Getty provides vocabularies for free. Art and Architecture Thesaurus, the Thesaurus of Geographic Names, Cultural Objects Name Authority, Union List of Artist Names, Getty Iconography Authority, just tons. Okay, catalogers. Now we're going to get a little crazy, so clutch your pearls. It's not all or nothing. You can just start doing authority control with your new cataloging, or for some of your new cataloging. Call it whatever you like. Authority control, authority work, authorizing, headings validation, Loretta. If you decide, I'm just going to try it from now on, in a new cataloging record, check the headings, make sure they match 1XX fields, bring in the authority records, look for any of the older headings that might match those 4XX fields in an authority record that are going to get updated and corrected as you bring in that record. And yes, authority work can be batched and automated. This is the citation I'm going to give you. It's a good article, and this is a screenshot. MarcEdit is free software that a lot of Koha users use. You might be using it yourself. You can automate a lot of processes by using it and bringing in authority records. Vendors also do this work. And I'm going to go live, show you a little bit. But before we do, other important resources, the Koha Manual of the Authorities section. Take a look. It's really good. If you want something in depth, Bywater Solutions Town Hall Webinar on Authorities with Joy Nelson, very detailed. I encourage everyone to watch it. The Koha Wiki Reports Library has great reports. MARC format for authority data, and the cataloging SIG that I chair. You can come here anytime attend the meetings. You don't have to be a member of Koha US. Ask any questions you have. We're happy to talk about authorities. You can also let me know of any questions you have ahead of time, and I'll be sure to bring them up and address them. And the sessions are recorded, and then you can tune into the recording. Okay, let's go live.
That just made my day.
Cool. So, some things I wanted to show you. Again, in action. I want to research saloons. What do I pull up? Wait, what do these records have to do with saloons? I'm not seeing the word saloon highlighted at all here. Let's take a look. What's going on? This is an authority record in action. There's no bibliographic record in my catalog that has the word saloon in it. Saloon is a C reference to bars, drinking establishments. It works really seamlessly for the user. Let's take a look at that authority record. Here we go. Saloons. A C from. This is the way authority records look in Koha in the Mark preview. It's all explained. And you get to see saloons as a 450, pointing to bars, drinking establishments. So let's bring in an authority record. We'll go new from Z3950. I'm going to pick the Library of Congress subject authority file. This abbreviation is something I get to pick when I'm adding the Z3950 client to my Koha catalog. So you can call this anything you want. Here we go. Cupids, cherubs. I can take a look at the record, make sure it's the right one I want. Cherubs, art, yep. And I can go ahead and bring it in. It's imported it. It puts me into an editor first, so I can make any changes I want to make and save it. Now if I look up cherubs in the authority section, there it is. It's used in no records. And in my catalog, well, it actually hasn't done any harm. I'm pulling up a couple of maps, probably because I have a note in here that there's probably some sort of cherub. To delete a record is really easy. Action, delete. Okay. No harm done. So let's key a new authority record. Never pick default. I tried it once just to see what happens. Couldn't search for it. I couldn't even delete it. I needed Bywater's help to get rid of it. So pick the type of heading. It really is. So let's just do personal name. Gonna go in the 100 heading personal name. And I'll just put in Spider-Man. C from Spidey. Now here's where it's going to get weird. There's a lot of mandatory fields. I don't know how to code them, say, or I don't want to. I'm just going to pick save. And it's like, I need data here. Guess what it's going to do? It's going to supply some data. And you know what? It's fine. Just hit save again. I know all the catalogers are really clutching their pearls hard. And it's fine. It's a good enough authority record. That's all you need to do. My catalog's running a little slow today, but there we are. Since we actually have nothing in the catalog under Spider-Man, I'm going to delete it. Importing a batch of authority records is as easy as importing a batch of bibliographic records, and you all have probably done that. You simply choose the different matching. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen, and I'm wondering if we have any questions.
There were a few questions, Heather, that came in while you were talking. Some we tried to type as you were going. When you were showing the Did You Mean feature, that can be set up within the administration area of Koha. Wally's asking, where do you get your authority records from? But then you showed Library of Congress. We shared a link to talk about where you can add the Z3950 calls or how you can edit it for how it will display where you were showing. And I just want to say your calming voice has made it so exciting to learn, because whenever you hear authorities, sometimes people get very nervous, and you're just so calm and walking us through it. I can't say that's enough. Now you have some more questions coming.
Well, and I think just the word authority control is anxiety producing. I mean, authority. Who's the authority? Maybe I have problems with authority. And it's not that big a deal with Koha. Koha's very kind, really, in its design, so that there's really nothing terrible that's going to happen.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm taking a look now and see some of the questions. Is it possible to pull in regular updates? Ooh, there may be. I don't know. What I do is I've subscribed to the Library of Congress's weekly list. It's monthly, I think actually monthly. They have a way where you can subscribe, and then they'll send you an alert when there's a new list of additions and changes, and these come out every month. And I just simply eyeball them to say, take a look. Maybe I have one of these headings, and then pull in the update and change them.
I will say, Eric, that people have asked about it, and I know our developers have looked to see if the APIs that the Library of Congress supplies for the subject headings would be something that can connect to Koha. So we can share the information that we found so far, if you're interested in it, because that is a common question that people ask, because rather than you having to manually go find if the update happened, this would be able to overlay or update the information. So We'll share that.
Oh, how important is it to get rid of machine-generated authorities if you have them? They're, if again, in Koha, authorities sitting there tend not to be a problem. I think those machine-generated ones will only be a problem if you start to do authority control and you find that you've had some typos, so you have different authority records for the different sort of heading or different phrasing. There's cookery and then there's cooking and there's, coking and and you're going to get authority records for all those, and then it's going to require human attention to try to track them all down, delete them. So the machine generated ones tend to just create some more work for humans. If you have telecommuters, these are a good telecommuting project, or you have people sitting on a desk who actually have slow time on a desk, they can help clean up some of these things. Yeah. Eric mentions control number searches can be problematic. They can because they have these little prefixes like sh da da da, and yeah. But keyword tends to work really well with LC headings. Yeah, a way to automatically update the authority records would be great, since that linking an automatic update of the linked bibliographic records when the authority and the bibliographic records are linked and are friends works so beautifully. It would be really, really great too for names, for when like an author's name has changed or you've finally got some dates, authors who pass away, closing those dates, if those could be done automatically, that would be fantastic.
I've pinged Nick to let him know that this conversation has come up in the webinar, so I'm getting it back on the radar.
Suggestions for ignoring subfields when trying to match an authority to a main heading, for example, geographic subfield. That takes more expertise than me. I know that my system tends to do it pretty well. So if people wanted to come to a CAT-SIG meeting, I'd be happy to show our catalog and get, just open up our system preferences to say, these are the way ours are set and it's working pretty well. Ask about that too in the Mattermost chat. And there's a lot of developers and people who have way more expertise about setting up these settings. Oh, yeah, Esther, very good point. Overlaying machine-generated authorities can happen over time as you add new or edit bibliographic records. They don't have to be fixed all at once. They still function as links. Exactly. Anything you do is a plus. Oh, and Eric uses machine generated and likes it. They just don't have time to pull in headings for everything, especially bulk imports. And really doesn't like the experience of did you mean linking searches with no results, differing opinions. Thank you for letting us know about that. And please come to a cataloging SIG meeting and share those opinions and why it works. I would love to learn more about that. And I'm sure that people who are in library settings more like yours would love to learn more about that too. Eric, yes, you might have a lot to. I always have a lot to learn. That's one thing I love about the Koha community is everyone is so generous with their knowledge so that we can learn more and better ways of doing things. Perhaps there's a lot more going on with machine authority records that I've never explored because I've always been like, well, I don't like them.
Had some great questions coming in. What else are people wondering or thinking about, or what are you doing with authorities at your library?
Oh yeah, Fred chimes in, a subject authority of cows, and use MarcEdit to upload a record of KOWS. If the subject authority has KOWS as a used for record, does it automatically correct the new record? How about if it doesn't have cows as a cross-reference? Yeah. With authorities, things have to match pretty exactly. So if you want your KOWS corrected to COWS, KOWS would have to be in the record. Otherwise, KOWS in Koha would just sit there as an unmatched heading. If you have a common typo, you can use the Koha automated authority, this automated authority processes to your advantage. If you had an authority record for the United States, you can put in a 4XX field for the untied states, and it would always automatically correct that typo if it occurs. Sarah says it would be really neat to have an authority setting show and tell. Okay, at a Cat Sig meeting, we'll do it. And I'd love if more people would come and show their authority settings, and we can just see like how are your settings set, and what does your Koha behavior look like? Oh, could someone clarify what we mean by machine-derived authorities? That is when an authority record is created completely automatically without any human. So the Library of Congress authority records always have human interaction. Parts of them may have been automatically generated, but a human reviews, a human adds, a human edits. If you have that setting in Koha that I was saying I don't like, but I'd love to be told about why it's great to generate an authority record every time a new heading is added in a bibliographic record. When that is created without a human looking at it, that's what we call a machine-derived authority or a machine-generated authority record. And Gretchen chimes in, I would consider switching to machine-generated authorities if there were a way for the system to first check and bring in an LC heading. Yeah, that'd be sweet. I feel like there might be a bug for that, but I can't find it at the moment. Oh, maybe there isn't. Or ask in the Koha Mattermost chat if there is. And if there isn't, perhaps put one in for that development. That sounds really slick. Oh, Eric found a bug. That might be it. And folks, if you're not involved in Bugzilla, where these bugs and developments live, it's great. You can chime in and comment and say, hey, I'm an actual Koha user, and this would be fantastic, and I would love to use it this way. And that lets developers know. And Bugzilla is also another very kind Koha community. don't have to be afraid of making mistakes or anything because people are so helpful about how to use it. Yeah, looking up an authority internally. There are ways when you're keying, if you're keying a record from scratch in Koha, to check your authority file interactively. I haven't gotten into that. I think there are some really great demos out there on that.
Well, Heather, this has been amazing. Thank you for taking the time for walking us through the basics of authorities, giving us real life examples, and showing us that it's not so scary to be able to go out there and do this ourselves.
My pleasure. I thank you for the opportunity. I think there was a real need in the community to just get super basic,
Yes.
low level, tiny baby steps into it. So, yeah.
And if you need a link to Koha US, if you're interested in coming to the SIGs that we've all been talking about, you can navigate to koha-us.org and you'll be able to join the special interest groups. There's a calendar that has when all the meetings are. So if you attend, you'll see Heather and many of the others that were interacting on the call today. So thank you, Heather, so much. We appreciate this. We'll follow up with everybody with the recording and links to some of the things that we've discussed and of course, Bugzilla. So thank you again, Heather.
Thank you, Jesse and Elise. Thanks everyone for coming, and I'll see you in a cat sig.
Yes, bye.